Hello, lovers, and welcome to today's guide to seducing your woman through the power of poetry on St. Valentine's Day. Firstly, and most importantly, consider the woman you want to seduce. What's she like? What does she like? And how will she respond? In my experience, there are essentially two types of woman. Well, as we know, there's a lot more than two. But for the purposes of today's exercise, we're looking at two distinct types. First of all, there is the woman who wants you to say words that will bring a tear to her eye, that will melt her heart, that will make her feel mwah, 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 mwah. Or secondly, we have the ladies who want you to make them smile, to make them laugh, to make them feel warm and happy and cuddly. Now, you'll know better than me which type of woman you have or want, and which type of poem will suit them best. For today's purposes, we have five types of poem. Firstly, there is the poem of seduction through tender emotions. Secondly, we have the poem with the promise of an undying, eternal love. Thirdly, we move on to the sexy, risque, more humorous, ribald kind of poem. Fourthly, we will go to a more humorous, absurd, comical kind of a poem. And fifth and finally, we will come to the poem where we simply disclose our real feelings, our true inner nature, and hope that it's not too frightening. Now, two simple tips to remember before we start. To make the poem personal to your woman, very simple but very effective. Slot in her name there somewhere, works like a charm. And secondly, try to include one or two little images or references that will mean something to her, will make her feel good. Now, it's important to remember that your woman knows you. She knows you're not a great poet. She knows you're not an artist or anything like that there. So, what can you do? Follow Picasso's advice. Picasso says, mediocre artists copy, great artists steal. So who shall we steal from? Well, why not the greatest poet of them all, W.B. Yeats? Had I the heavens embroidered cloths, enwrought with golden and silver light, the blue, the dim and the dark cloths of night and light and half light, I would spread the cloth under your feet. But I, being poor, have only my dreams. I have spread my dreams under your feet. Tread softly, because you tread on my dreams. Alas, we cannot give this to our woman in its current package, for she will recognize it. She will know that you are a fraud. What can we do? We must modify it. We must use perhaps more current words. We won't be the first to modify it. Elton John has done something similar in his song, Your Song. He says, if I had money, I'd buy you a house. If I was a sculptor, I'd build you that. If I had potions, I'd give you that. But all I have is this, take it, treasure it, etc. And we'll do something similar. What does your woman want? Perhaps a villa in the south of France? Good place to start. If I had a villa in the south of France, or drove you around in a red Ferrari, or I was a knight in some old-fashioned romance, and you were my queen, how happy we'd be. But that, dear Cathy, is the stuff of dreams, and I, being poor, can only offer you this, my love forever, whatever that means. Treat it tenderly, tender as a lover's kiss. And there you have it, just like Yeats. Tread softly, for you tread in my dreams. Treat it like a lover's kiss. The same idea. Cathy, go upstairs, disrobe. Your man is coming to follow you. We are going to have a great time in the boudoir. Now, secondly, we move away from the Elton School to the Whitney School, the I will always love you school. As a template, I have selected the following little poem from Robert Burns. Oh, my love is like a red, red rose that's newly sprung in June. Oh, my love is like the melody that's sweetly played in tune. So fair art thou, my bonny lass, so deep in love am I, and I will love thee still, my dear, till the seas gang dry. Till the seas gang dry, my dear, and the rocks melt with the sun, I will love thee still, my dear, while the sands of life still run. Or, as Whitney puts it more succinctly, I will always love you. Woo, woo. So we now move on. We are going to take Mr. Burns's little template and modify it into something else. Now, admittedly, it's not great art, but I have never, in all my experience with women, ever known a woman to disrobe in the company of great art. We are going to give her instead some sentimental mush, which in my experience is much more effective at encouraging the ladies to disrobe. Following Burns's template, rather than offering her a rose, we'll offer her something that she really wants. A beach holiday. Why not a beach holiday? So, here goes. My love for you shines like the sun, constant, gentle, and warm. My arms reach out to hold you close, to keep you safe from harm. And though the sun gives way to rain, and my arms won't always be strong, I will never cause you pain or do you any wrong. After all the seas have gone dry and the roses all withered and died, I'll still be walking with you, dear Kathy, forever by your side. Kathy, I will always love you. I'll go upstairs there, disrobe, I'll be with you shortly. Now, that ends the section where we focus on the poems. We are now going to move on to the poems, starting with something sexy. Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. When it comes to sex, keep it simple, keep it short, keep it silly. Write something that any fool could write, such as this. How I love to hold your hand and gaze into your beautiful eyes. But most of all, dear Kathy, I love to kiss you right between your thighs. Yum, 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 yum. That comes from the Prince School, the you need another lover like you need a hole in your head. You know there ain't no other that can do the duty in your bed. It's a school that I can relate to. We're telling the woman no one else can do it for you. Nobody does it better. Now, Kathy, up the stairs you go there. Disrobe. We'll be with you shortly with a rose between our teeth. Fourthly, we move on to the poems for the lovers who are perhaps slightly more relaxed in each other's company. They know each other's ways, they know each other's foibles, their humour, their cynicisms, their absurdities. They just enjoy hanging around together. In this kind of a poem, we don't need to worry so much about rhyme or meter or fancy literary devices like alliteration or onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia, quite hard to say. Onomatopoeia. Those kind of things we can use and we can have fun with them or we can dispense with them as we wish. We really can feel free here to indulge our fancies. We can even be a bit like Shakespeare and make up our own brand new words. Here is an example. Love poem. The sweet serpentine smell of satin that clings to your felicitudinous flesh like poison ivy, has made my heart rush, my skin shiver and quiver in time with the ding dong doom booming bells of desire. Oh, cure this clustered, clanging, emotional vacuum with a curly, twirly, hopeful smile. Light leaps longingly, lovingly into the room. The springtime sparrow sings a wistful warble to appease, to please, to unleash our blooming, blundersome, blathering hearts. I'll talk to you about the people from the little country who manufacture bombs from belly buttons. Can you feel how lush the hush of slush is to the trekkers who care only that ting 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 time talks on? Listen to lush, hush, slush. Feel the beating of my heart, dear Cathy, as the doleful dreamy day recedes to a yet more doleful darkness. The mirth-making, mango-eating Martians are with us now. This example comes from what I think of as the Freddie School of Poetry, as in Freddie Mercury, Bohemian Rhapsody. What the hell are you going on about, Freddie? Do you know what, Freddie? It doesn't matter. Everyone loves you. You're great. Say what you want. We love you. I'm going upstairs to this robe now. Come on up after me, Freddie, and give me what for. So, finally, fifth and finally, folks, moving on from the Freddie School, we come to the Adele School, where we disclose our real feelings. Naturally, we're not going to do it in the fashion of Adele. We do not want to terrify our lover. We do not want to come across as neurotic or psychotic or hysterical. So, keep a lid on it, folks. Keep it real, but make it warm and human at the same time. All we're doing here is simply, in the simplest language possible, writing down how we feel. I will start with an example, which we shall then modify into a love poem, and we shall include our dear Cathy. Here is the example. First, I was happy. First, I was happy, or so I thought. And then I was unhappy. And then I was happy again. And then unhappy. And then just a little bit happy. But then neither happy nor sad, just middling. And then happy again, until I felt sick, and then well again, and then I felt positively elated. But it didn't last, and I started to feel unhappy, and then a bit better, until I felt okay, or just okay-ish, but still not exactly myself, if you know what I mean. I think perhaps you do. We all know what that feels like, to be a little bit up, a little bit down. How can we include Cathy in this? Comme ça. Dear Cathy, you could be so happy with me, at least some of the time. And sometimes you'd feel not so happy, and then happy again, and then just a little bit happy, but then neither happy or sad, just middling. And sometimes you'd feel sick, and I'd look after you, and sometimes I'd feel sick, and you'd look after me until we felt well again. And sometimes we'd feel positively elated, and the sex would be fantastic. But it wouldn't last, because constant euphoria is unhealthy. So sometimes I'll make you angry, and sometimes you'll make me sad. But mostly I'll make you happy, though sometimes I'll drive you mad and then whisk you away for a luxury holiday, somewhere we can't afford, like Indonesia or Tokyo, maybe even Peru. But however you feel when you're with me, you'll never, ever feel bored. And so, dear lovers, that concludes today's guide. I'm pretty sure that there's something in there for us all, that if you follow this advice, listen to the words I say, and you indeed will have your wicked way with the woman you love this Valentine's Day.